The story on Calgary's planned transit upgrade, the Green Line, just keeps getting weirder and weirder. First, City Council didn't do their due diligence when exploring how much the project would cost. Because of that, we're only getting half the line for around $4.65 billion, when the original estimate for the entire thing was $4.5 billion. And now the first phase of the project will just service people that already have it relatively easy commuting into the downtown core as it is. The reason we need this project completed is to serve suburban communities where it takes 2 or 3 buses and a whole lot of extra time to get into the core because Calgary City Transit just isn't all that efficient. So people actually take their cars to work and are willing to pay the second highest parking fees in North America at over $30 a day, then pay a couple bucks to take transit. It's just that bad. But something else happened last week. The day before the official start of the stampede, Rachel Notley finally announced that the province will be dedicating their 1/3 of the funding to the Green Line, all thanks to the carbon tax. Except the NDP's balance sheet tells me that they'll have Alberta in $71 billion worth of debt by the time they're done with the province, and announced contributing only 1/3 of the original price. So that accounts for funding just half of the project. And another thing the NDP have said is that the money won't come until 2019. If you recall, and if you're counting down the days like I am, that's an election year. So one person that's been very vocal on this issue is Conservative MP Michelle Rempel, because this directly affects the constituents in her riding, and I talked to her about the effect it's going to have on those commuters, and also some of the hypocrisy that's coming along with the government's decision-making on the project.
Anybody that's in North Calgary who's looking at where the Green Line's going to 16th Avenue is going, this doesn't affect me, this doesn't help me, and you're telling me I'm supposed to have more of my tax dollars spent to get a project that was originally committed to help me spend. This is one of those issues that people look at and say, this makes no sense. While we want to ensure we have access in the downtown core, what about the people on the far edges of the city that are taking their cars into the core and putting extra greenhouse gas emissions and congestions on the Deerfoot? For a government that purports to stand for environmental sustainability, to approve a project that was supposed to serve the entire city of Calgary and now only half for essentially what works out to be double the cost, I think it's they've got a lot of explaining to do.
So there are a few things to think about here. Of course, the carbon tax isn't paying for this thing when Alberta is going into serious debt under the provincial government. Do they really think Albertans are buying that when the province is broke? There is no carbon tax fund. Also, the NDP promised the first payout for the project in 2019, which means what they're really doing is not committing to it at all and passing the decision-making on to the next government in line. And this phase 1 leg of the project won't get cars off the roads to reduce emissions. So what's supposed to be an environmentally friendly project really isn't and won't be until the city builds the other phases, which will be what, decades from now? You know, I'd say this was all smoke and mirrors from the government, but it's so blatantly obvious that they either believe their own lies or think we're stupid enough to. Take your pick, but I opt for the latter. We're all just sewer rats in their eyes after all. For the Rebel.media, I'm Holly Nicholas. Thanks so much for watching. Justin Trudeau and the Liberals just committed to paying convicted terrorist Omar Khadr $10.5 million after he killed an American medic on the battlefield. If you're as disgusted about this as I am, there's something you can do. We want to raise $1 million for the victims, the Spear family. If you can help us out, please visit spearkids.com.